Conditions are drier than the Dust Bowl years in the heartland of America, Michael Snyder reports. The seemingly endless drought in the heartland of America is not going to be good for food production. For years, I've been relentlessly warning my readers that Dust Bowl conditions would return to the middle of the country. And now, Dust Bowl conditions have returned to the middle of the country. In fact, as you'll see below, it's being reported that conditions are drier than the Dust Bowl years in some parts of Iowa. If the heartland of America does not start getting more precipitation, we're going to be facing some enormous problems in the years ahead. According to drought.gov, half of the Midwest is experiencing drought right now, and things are particularly dire in the state of Iowa. 94% of Iowa is currently in drought, with 24% in extreme drought. Despite decent improvement over the last month, drought is still impacting 68% of Wisconsin and 58% of Minnesota. Needless to say, the heartland of America produces much of our food. So it should deeply concern all of us that communities all over the Midwest are starting to run out of water. The southeast Kansas city of Kenay will run out of water by March 1st without rain, officials said. Its school district has moved to a 4-day week to conserve water. 4 wells in Belle Plaine, Iowa are producing 40% as much water as usual. Residents of Osceola, near Des Moines, can be fined $65 or more if they defy water restrictions. Can you imagine? Residents in many towns are not allowed to wash their cars. Porta potties have replaced some public bathrooms. We're hoping it just rains, said James Rainbolt, manager of a wholesale water plant that supplies parts of 4 counties in southern Kansas. He said, we're at the mercy of the weather. Ultimately, we're all at the mercy of the weather. And despite all of our advanced technology, we remain highly vulnerable to shifting weather patterns. And at this moment, we're being told that some parts of Iowa are literally drier than the Dust Bowl years. 2 counties in Iowa have had the driest 3-year period on record going back to at least the 1890s, he said. Drier than the Dust Bowl years, he said. Dozens of other communities are carefully watching well levels and streams, Hall said, trying to make sure they don't end up in the same situation as Belle Plaine or Osceola, which are experiencing water shortages. As a result of the extremely dry conditions, major dust storms are becoming increasingly common in the Midwest. Early this year, a colossal dust storm in Illinois actually caused a vehicle pileup that involved dozens of motorists. Gusting winds in the Midwest United States have kicked up a fatal dust storm, reducing visibility to 0 and triggering a major vehicle pileup that killed at least 6 people in Illinois highway. More than 30 additional motorists from age 2 to 80 were hurt in the crash. Now, the lack of precipitation is also causing enormous headaches all along the Mississippi River, and authorities are warning that this is not likely to change any time soon. Lack of rain brought drought to much of the Mississippi River basin earlier this summer, and it likely is going to linger into winter. Army Corps of Engineers leadership said during a press conference on November 8 in Memphis, while a dredge was working nonstop to keep the river channel open a few miles south. It's the 2nd year in a row that extreme drought has caused a shrinking channel, forced the Corps to dredge later and in the season than normal. Last year, low river levels lingered into the winter and dredging continued until January. It's shaping up to be the same this year. Welcome to the new normal, quote unquote, along the Mississippi River. And considering the fact that so much of our food is transported on vessels that use the Mississippi River, this is a big problem for all of us. Of course, drought is just one of the factors that has been depressing food production in this nation. Overall, natural disasters caused $21.5 billion in agricultural losses in the United States last year. Research from the American Farm Bureau Federation suggests that nationwide, natural disasters cost $21.5 billion in agricultural losses last year, Only about half of those were protected by insurance, the majority of which is sold through federal-backed programs. Their payouts to farmers have increased over 500% in the last 2 decades. That number is almost certainly going to be even larger this year, and this is one of the reasons why food prices are going to continue to go up no matter what our leaders choose to do. Food production is being hammered from one direction after another, and this is happening at a time when global supply of food are becoming tighter and tighter. So I hope that you decide to stock up on food while prices are still relatively low, because they have a lot higher. They are a lot higher now, and it won't be too long before they reach exceedingly painful levels. This is by Michael Snyder. He says about the author, "My name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled Chaos is now available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 7 other books that are available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecy of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, Commissions Earned. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing, and one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I've also started a brand new Substack newsletter, and I encourage you to subscribe so that you won't miss any of my articles. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News, and the articles that I publish on those sites are published on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media on Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. This is on the Economic Collapse blog by Michael Snyder. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.